In a world where darkness reigns and humanity is a distant memory, one small child holds the fragile thread of hope. The Last Dawn is a gripping horror story about Timothy, a lone survivor in a city overrun by vampires. Join him on his harrowing journey of survival, courage, and an unexpected alliance with a vampire who retains her humanity. As they navigate the treacherous streets and uncover a potential cure, they fight to bring light back to a world shrouded in darkness. Will they succeed in their quest to save humanity? Watch now to find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thrilling stories.
In the silence of the abandoned city, the night was no longer just a passage of time, but a living, breathing entity. Shadows flickered with unholy life, and every breath of wind carried whispers of dread. The world had changed, plunged into an abyss where darkness reigned supreme, and humanity was but a memory. Except for one, a small child who held the fragile thread of hope. Once, the world had been filled with the laughter of children, the bustle of markets, and the hum of everyday life. But now, silence was its ruler. Buildings stood as hollow sentinels, their windows broken like the eyes of the blind. Streets lay deserted, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or the scurrying of a rat. It was a world overtaken by vampires, an army of nightmarish beings who thrived on the essence of life. In the midst of this desolation, a lone figure wandered the streets. Timothy, a boy no older than 7. He moved with a quiet grace, an instinctual caution that belied his age. Vampires had taken everything from him, his family, his friends, his world. They had not taken his spirit. Timothy had learned to navigate the night, to hide from the piercing red eyes and sharp fangs that sought him. Timothy had discovered a haven in the basement of an old library. Books were his companions, their dusty pages whispering tales of a world he barely remembered. By day, he would scavenge for food, moving through the shadows like a ghost, avoiding the light that would betray his presence to the ever-watchful vampires. One night, as he crept through an abandoned store, he found a can of beans. His heart leaped with joy, but his victory was short-lived. The noise, soft but unmistakable, made him freeze. He turned slowly, eyes wide with fear, and saw the glint of fangs in the darkness. But the vampire did not attack. Instead, it watched him with a strange intensity, as if trying to understand what it saw. Timothy backed away slowly, clutching his precious can of beans. The vampire's eyes followed him, but it made no move to give chase. It was almost as if it were curious. Timothy returned to his basement, heart pounding. That night, he slept fitfully, haunted by the memory of the vampire that had not attacked. The next day, he found a small package at the entrance to his hideout. Inside were food supplies, canned goods, bottled water, and a note. "Stay safe. You are not alone." The handwriting was elegant, the paper old and yellowed. Timothy's mind raced. Who had left this? Could there be someone else out there, someone who wanted to help? The thought filled him with cautious hope. Over the following days, the mysterious packages continued to appear, each one containing provisions and notes of encouragement. Timothy felt a strange kinship with his unseen benefactor. He left notes of his own, thanking them and sharing small details about his life. It was a silent conversation, a lifeline in a world of death. One night, as Timothy was reading by the light of a candle, he heard a soft knock on the basement door. His heart leapt into his throat. He crept to the door and opened it a crack. A figure stood there, cloaked in darkness. "I won't hurt you," a soft voice said. "I've been watching over you." Timothy hesitated, then opened the door wider. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a woman with pale skin and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. She was a vampire, but different somehow, softer, more human. "My name is Ilara," she said. "I used to be a doctor. When the change happened, I retained some of my humanity. I've been helping those I could find." Timothy's fear slowly gave way to trust. Ilara was unlike the others. She spoke with kindness and sorrow, a deep regret for what had become of the world. She explained how the vampires had once been human, but were now driven by an insatiable hunger. Some, like her, had fought the transformation, clinging to their humanity. Ilara revealed a secret. There was a way to end the vampire plague, but it required great risk. A hidden laboratory held the key. A cure developed too late to save the world, but perhaps not too late to save Timothy. They could reach it. There might be a way to reverse the transformation. Timothy agreed. They set out under the cover of darkness, moving through the city with a blend of caution and urgency. Alara used her abilities to shield them, her senses alert for any threat. Timothy felt a strange comfort in her presence, a sense of hope that had long been absent. The journey was fraught with danger. They encountered other vampires, but Alara's presence protected Timothy. She spoke to them in hushed tones, and they backed away, confused and hesitant. It was clear that Alara held some power over them, a remnant of her former authority as a doctor. They reached the laboratory after several harrowing nights. It was hidden beneath a hospital, its entrance sealed and forgotten. Alara broke the seal, and they descended into the cold, sterile halls. The lab was intact, untouched by the chaos above. Alara worked quickly, her hands moving with practiced precision. Timothy watched, a mix of fear and hope in his heart. The cure was a serum, a final effort by the scientists who had perished trying to save humanity. Alara prepared the injection, her eyes meeting Timothy's. "This will hurt," she said softly, "but it's the only way." Timothy nodded. He braced himself as Alara administered the serum. Pain seared through his veins, and he cried out. But then a strange warmth spread through him, and the pain began to fade. Hours passed, and Timothy slept fitfully. When he awoke, he felt different, stronger, more aware. Alara watched him with hopeful eyes. "It worked," she said, relief evident in her voice. "You're immune now, and you can help others." Timothy felt a surge of determination. The world was dark, but he held a light within him. With Alara's help, he could spread the cure, one person at a time. They would fight the darkness together, restoring humanity one life at a time. Timothy and Alara emerged from the lab into the night. The city was still and silent, but it no longer felt as oppressive. They moved through the streets, a small boy and a vampire who had reclaimed her humanity, carrying the hope of a new dawn. The world was not lost. As long as there was hope, there was a chance for redemption. And Timothy, the last child in a world of darkness, would be the beacon that guided them back to the light.